Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdattude Movie Podcast. I am here with these fucking guys.
Fucking guys.
Um, Back for week 2 of
Oops.
October, which we're doing all horror movies. Um, if you were with us last year, we did kind of themes. This month is going to be more loosey goosey. Although the movies we all chose, this could technically be like a classics theme, sort of, or just
Yeah,
weird
This
shit
one could be more
themes.
campy classic.
I mean, you could call it the movies that were trying to emulate more popular movies.
That's true. I don't know about Phantasm though.
No,
That was just its
Phantasm was
own.
more of an originator in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the three movies we chose: Sleepaway Camp, Killer Klowns, and Phantasm. But before we get into the movies, we can do our usual or bring back our segment of what are you guys watching. I'll go first. I just rewatched I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is still a terrible movie. But I was telling the guys off air, my wife and I were saying, how come that movie didn't do as successful as Scream? Year apart, arguably had the better casting for like teen heartthrobs and like popular people back then.
Maybe more.
Honestly, I think it was release. Can you imagine if that movie came out first?
Before Scream, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to argue it's a weaker premise. The premise of hitting Gordon Fisherman and dumping him on the side of the road is a weaker story than
the Vanderkamp guy.
Yeah, like literally the guy in the box that you get at Jewel.
It's an
Like-
origin story for
like-
Long John Silver.
Like, yeah, that's the thing is like nobody gives a fuck about some longshoreman that got hit. Like the story of teenagers being systematically murdered and no one is safe is more captivating
Somewhere
than
one of our viewers is like me. I give a fuck.
yeah. There's some person that's like
I
I
like
felt for the
Vanderkamp.
fisherman. He was my
I
father.
like the fish.
No, but
I mean,
so I
Tartar sauce.
rewatched that, and then I watched two other things that I would recommend. One is a new movie that just came out on Netflix. It's called No One Gets Out Alive, and it's based off a book by Adam Naval, who is the writer of the book The Ritual, that the movie The Ritual was based off of, which is another Netflix film.
I'm gonna check that book out.
Yeah, No One Gets Out Alive. I would say if you're gonna watch it, don't watch any trailers. Just watch it. Once you get towards the end, it's just like what the fuck. And then a show I watched that is amazing is Midnight Mass, which is by Mike Flanagan.
So
He's done.
I have interest in that, but I have read several articles where it's like why Midnight Mass is terrible.
So it's Mike Flanagan is. I can see why a lot of people don't like it. Mike Flanagan, he did the Hill House, Haunted Bly Manor.
Oh, okay.
He did Doctor Sleep, Gerald's Game.
I like Doctor Sleep.
So my wife might like it then.
He writes the
She
way he writes and puts it to screen the way Stephen King books are read. Like all of his stuff. Like when you read, if you're a real Stephen King fan, as I am,
You're not some
sure.
piece of shit
I
poser
can't
bitch.
tell.
So, like Midnight Mass, it's a horror show and there's horror going on, but the show's not about that. It's about the characters and their experience. And a lot of people who are like, I want to watch a spooky horror show. This is not the show for you. There's some crazy horror shit in it, but you better be prepared for lots of dialogue, lots of monologue, lots of like just two
So
people talking.
in other words, you can't be on
what's
your
it?
cell phone while watching.
Yeah, you have to pay attention.
No,
You
you
have
need to
to
pay
pay
attention.
Yeah.
You need to pay
Which-
attention.
Which
because-
if you watch a TV show or if you watch a fucking movie, you should not be on your fucking cell phone. First of all.
no, but
I mean, so
I-
hold on. In defense of the ADD crowd, I am guilty of being one of these people that is on my phone during certain movies, especially if I've seen them before.
I'm guilty as well, but
But generally speaking,
I know when to turn it off.
if I'm watching a movie the first time, I'm not on my phone unless I'm not into the movie. Like if that makes sense. Like if I'm not into it at all, then I will find myself like maybe googling things about the actors or shit like that. So there is moments where if I'm not loving the film, my phone does come out. But if it's a first run and I'm into it, generally speaking, I don't pick it up.
No. So I guess to put it in a sense, Midnight Mass is a show where you need to pay attention.
A lot
But
of character
Is
development.
it anything like the
Yeah.
show Haven?
no.
Did you watch Haven or no?
I used to like Haven, yeah.
I did like Haven. I did like Haven.
But yeah, if you're looking for something scary to watch, Midnight Mass is not it. If you're looking
Is
for
it atmosphere?
like,
Is it just all atmosphere?
it's atmosphere.
Writing?
The horror of Midnight Mass though is
Yeah,
religion.
but
But
would,
there's other shit going on, but the
Right.
people and their religion is the real horror of the show.
yeah, but should
So
you
that- yeah.
should you be watching it looking for horror, or should you be looking for deep
No.
characters and good writing?
Good writing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is you have a lot of people who I think get pigeonholed into this. This is supposed to be this genre. If it isn't this genre and doesn't stick to it, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, even though all of us were kind of mixed on Malignant, it is important to say, well, at least he's got the balls to say, no, I kind of wanted to have it this way, and this way.
I think-
You do risk things becoming stagnant when it's you're appealing to the masses.
I think that's also what happened to Walking Dead, where everybody was like, "Well, I want more zombies eating people." Well, no, Walking Dead was not about the zombies.
Yeah, but Walking Dead got boring as fuck, and the one reason, because I've never
because
finished
they stretched stories.
I've never finished it, but the one thing that is keeping me from rerunning it, because Jen and I have talked about it, is there's like 2 or 3 seasons of just fucking sludge. I remember watching it live, and it was like every episode, it's like, all right, we're going to get some story progression, and it was another episode of them being fucking depressing in the prison or some shit. And it was just like, it was too much of the same stagnant drama. And at a certain point, those people were right, though, in saying, we need more zombie murder. Like, because it was going from, and if you, I understand, if you read the graphic novels, I did, the true horror in the graphic novels was the people's actions. But that doesn't mean you take the governor and stretch out every cool thing about him to, like, the last 5 minutes of 6 different episodes. You know what I mean? They did that a lot, and I thought The Governor was the best season they ever had, and it fell sharply after that. I actually stopped watching right before Negan came. So, but now I've heard that they got him as the good. I don't know. It's hard for me to dip back into that world.
Yeah, it's weird, and that's why Midnight Mass is getting odd reviews, because really it's like, I don't know, when I talk about horror movies, like, you get people who are like, "Ah, dude, that movie was not scary," and it's like, okay, but what were you looking for in the movie?
So
Because
I am one of those guys with specifically The Witch, because I was a little misled to thinking it was more along the lines of Black Death, and it was much more along the lines of more of a psychological thriller or psychological horror than any actual real horror, and I thought it was like, I had a feeling going into it, you know what it was, but I thought it was going to be scarier than what it was. So with a movie like that, I was one of those guys that's like, I just don't get it, because for me it wasn't really, it didn't grab me. I didn't have any tension from it, just personally.
yeah, I mean, usually when people say that, I'm generally curious, like, what are you looking for? Because everyone has their weird lane of horror.
And you know me, dude, I love gore too, so it is hard for me to watch a horror movie where there is remarkably no violence, except for maybe a very little bit at the end. That is also a little kind of like, I'm okay with dealing with a movie with a lot of build-up, but when the climax is anticlimactic, it's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I honestly think you won't love Midnight Mass, but there are badass horror scenes in it.
But here's the thing: is I'm going to approach it as like, I liked Haven, and I know it's stupid to bring up, but that is a Stephen King property, and that show was no horror. I mean, that was like a supernatural, weird drama town show.
Yeah.
So like, I don't mind it, and I'm very open to it. It's just, I'm also one of those people that defend the movie The Watchmen, because I feel it was marketed wrong. They marketed it as the next superhero movie, and they should have marketed it as a social critique, political drama.
I like The Watchmen as well.
I want to rewatch it, but it's literally the extended cut is 3 hours and fucking 50 minutes long.
And the thing is, if you're gonna watch it and do it right, you need to watch the extended cut.
And the thing, maybe we should just watch it episodically, where we watch a couple hours at a time until it's fucking finished. But it's just so long to get into. It's hard. It's the same thing with like a lot of those, like the Lord of the Rings. We have the extended cuts on digital 4K, and it's
I own those. I own those as well.
It's just like each one is 3.5 hours long, and like, well, that's literally 2 nights of movies, frankly, because either she falls asleep or gets.
That's what I did.
Stuff like that.
I powered through all the movies.
That's what you did. You fell asleep.
No, I powered through all the movies in 2 nights.
Sleep on the turlet.
That's not lying.
Anyways, that's me. One of you guys go. What are you watching?
I'll go. I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the final season, and I'm
I've
hating it.
never watched that
I'm
show.
hating it.
It's terrible.
The eighth, I think it's the eighth and final season. I'm hating it. They have their ups and downs, but it's fucking
It's
horrible.
far too politically leaning and less funny.
Yeah, and it's a comedy. It's a comedy. You should be able to watch comedy and be able to fucking release yourself.
To its
But
credit, it's always been an amazing, brilliantly written comedy up until this past season.
it still has funny shit in it. They're still able to make funny out of their political views that they're doing. But I don't watch fucking comedy to fucking get political views. I watch comedy to fucking have comedy.
I mean, the problem is like
I'm trying to get out of the real world.
the problem is they're appeasing. So like if they don't
Right.
do that in the writing and make social commentary, then they're going to get backlash from those people. But the problem is by doing this, you're essentially changing what made the show funny in the first place. So you're kind of saying to your fans like, no, you're going to have to accept this to find out what happens to your characters in the last season.
But they did find a way to do that, and they did find a way to cater to that audience. But
I would prefer
the way they just started falling into the whole. I'm sorry if anybody disagrees, but they started falling into the whole every cop is a bad cop. No, it's not. I mean that pissed me off because I have family members that are policemen. You know.
Well, that started with the season before where you got
hints. Yeah, it did.
You got hints of it like, well, we're going to address police brutality. This is of course when George Floyd
with Terry
and
Cruz's
like that,
character,
yeah. And then now they've gone full on kind of agenda mode.
But it is bad, and it's only like I think 9 episodes long. So it's almost over for me.
It's hard for us because Jen and I love that show, and it's just going into it. It's like, what happened to Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
The other thing I did start was Squid Game.
I am interested in that. Is that good?
If you have not seen it, it's fucking weird.
It's hard. Is it hardcore?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
So the phone number used in that movie, an
4,000 people a day.
Yeah.
Really?
He's like, God damn it. Yeah.
He gets 4,000 calls a day because it was a real phone number. Jeez. No, but I started watching it and I got through 2 episodes and my wife came home. She goes, "Oh, what are you watching?" She saw it was like a Korean movie or TV show, and I was like, "Squid Game." She goes, "I've been wanting to watch that." And right when she said that, I was like, "Oh fuck, here we go." So
See,
I gotta wait.
You and Matt are way too nice. I don't even wait. I just tell Shay like, I'm gonna watch this show at this time. Be there, be square. When we first started dating, I would say things like, "Oh, I want to go see this movie," and she'd be like, "Oh, we should go see it," and I'm like, "No, I want to go see this movie. You can be in the car when I leave."
So you do treat it very differently than I do. I treat it very much of like much more understanding of like.
I know. I actually want to participate with my wife in this movie or TV show or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the point where she starts asking me more questions than watching, then it starts to aggravate me. So I'm kind of like at this teeter-totter part where I'm like,
well, see, I fortunately don't have that problem. Like Jen and I will actually, one of the reasons I do love watching shit with her is because we'll banter back and forth. Like we are that couple that's in the theater going, "What the fuck?" when shit just doesn't make sense.
Well,
no, not audibly loud, but like to each other. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Just yelling, "What?
I've
piece of shit!"
So many times before, if I'm watching a movie or TV show with my wife, she asks questions that if she just stayed quiet for 2 seconds more, it would actually be answered.
Dude, you gotta pause the movie and make up fake facts about it.
Wait, when she asks questions, do you tell no lies? And do you have big old pupils with bloodshot eyes?
No, none of that stuff. Is that some kind of song reference?
It's a Kid Rock song.
Okay, yeah.
Toss that probe and couldn't keep
really
me clean, cause I'm the bold God, you understand?
Oh,
You're
really?
legitimate son of man. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The D-O-G and then whatever he says. G-O-D and the...
No, she'll ask me questions and I'll be like, you know what? I'll pause it. I'll be like, you and I are watching the same fucking movie.
Why are you so hostile, man?
Let's watch. Yeah, it's just words. But then
you just whipping the spaghetti at the wall and the kids are jumping every 5 seconds.
They're just words.
It's not like I flip my fucking plate.
Look, verbal abuse isn't abuse, guys. You need to get over that shit. It's not mental abuse. I just scream at her till she cries.
No, but I told her, I'm like, we're watching the same fucking movie. Let's finish it. And as soon as I press play, it gets answered for her in fucking 2 seconds.
See, like I said, I'm lucky. Jen doesn't do that very often. If it's something I've seen, she can get impatient and be like, "Come on, what fucking happens? Is he alive or dead?" And it's like, you're gonna have to watch.
Also, here's another thing that happens. We're watching a horror movie or something, and this happens right here.
Oh, well, that's fine if she's scared.
And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Why are you covering your ears and your eyes? I don't want to see or hear it. Well, then don't fucking watch with me.
Oh, come on. You can't be mean about that. She's watching it with you at least. So what if she wants to close her eyes?
No, because right after that, you know what happens? What happened? What did I miss? Well, you shouldn't have fucking covered your eyes.
I love when Steph watches movies because when she covers her eyes, I fucking laugh. It just makes me laugh. She's like, it's not funny. It is funny. It's hilarious.
Well, you know what I used to do?
Should have kept your eyes open.
I used to sit next to my wife when we were watching movies, and now I have a recliner or whatever. But when we're watching movies, she puts the pillow on her face. As it gets to the point, I grab the pillow and I yank it out of the way, and she's like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" And she has to.
I just feel like Alex portrays himself as like he sits down to dinner, takes a fork full of spaghetti, and it's not super hot. He just drops the fork and slides the plate into the wall. This fucking spaghetti's cold!
These fucking guys.
That's only with my breakfast. That's only with eggs. No.
Oh, damn, you slam it against the wall for these eggs are rubber!
There's just a spot.
Who cooks eggs before bacon?
There's a grease spot stained on the wall from every time he's thrown.
You can kind of see through the wall at this point. It's just the grease is chipped away at the paint.
But seriously, who cooks eggs before bacon?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you do separate pans, to be honest with you.
You cook bacon first, though, don't you?
Well, you got to start it first, yeah.
You cook bacon first, and then you cook the eggs in the bacon fat.
See,
but because eggs cook fast.
Well, it depends on what you're making. If you're making like personalized omelets for everybody, you start them at the same time, really. Because by the time you're done with that last, like making your omelet, because I always make everybody's first, then mine. You know, the bacon should be like, but you definitely start that first. Although if you air fry it, it doesn't take long at all. It's the best way to do it, by the way.
Man's trying to get that fucking air fryer.
I'm gonna have my own Nerdattude air fryer where it's like, you can put so many fucking mozzarella sticks in this cocksucker.
Can they make it smaller than my 3-foot microwave?
They do. Your dad just needs to stop buying stovetop ovens. It's not our fault he bought a fucking oven. He didn't buy an air fryer. It's the Ronco. Throw whatever the fuck you want in there. It'll cook it.
He's like, you can cook a 12-pound turkey in this one. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to put a 12-pound turkey.
You know I could put a whole 6-foot-long hoagie in this fucking son of a bitch. Get that cheese nice and toasted. It's like, we get it, but when do you need a 6-foot-long? You never know. All right? All right, back to the movie. Jesus. Sleepaway Camp. Lewis.
Wait, no. You didn't say
what you guys didn't say what you're
Giovanni,
watching.
you go ahead. Fuck, this segment's taking forever. Holy cow, I forgot. I thought what? Giovanni.
So I did watch Midnight Mass. I loved it. And I've been recently diving into a shit ton of Asian horror movies.
Does it stink?
So I started today with The Grudge verse Juhan.
Oh, the original
Dude,
Asian version?
You gotta watch.
Yeah.
If you don't have Tubi, it's being put on Shudder this month. But Gonjim Haunted Asylum.
I saw that. Yep, that's my next one.
I'm actually waiting for it to go on Shudder because I hate commercials. I'd
So I've been
rather wait
looking
a month
for
to watch
Asian
the movie
horror
than sit
movies.
through 4 minutes of
Yeah, right.
commercials. I'm stupid.
Yeah,
They're not that bad.
October 4th, it'll be on.
Oh, that's so close. I can wait 2 more days.
Although on Tubi, Gonjim Haunted Asylum on Tubi, they actually, I was laughing at how perfectly timed they did commercials.
You know, Pluto is a bastard with it because some of them are really well timed, but some of them they just wait until right after the dialogue where it's like, we were watching Surreal Life, so CC DeVille is talking about being sober, and he's like, I've never been on stage being sober. Welcome to my vagina. And it's like, God damn it! That's Pluto.
Oh, man.
Tubi is before, the middle, and I think towards the end you get them. They actually kind of time them to be like somewhat. Continue, Giovanni.
Actual breaks.
And then Creep Show. Definitely been watching Creep Show. New episode came out. I'm excited for it. And that's what I've been watching.
My turn.
Very nice.
It's June.
Watching What We Do in the Shadows, every new episode. Finishing up MasterChef with the wife. I started Ray Donovan Solo. Liking that so far. Creep Show, and then we've been watching a lot of trashy reality TV. We watched all the seasons of Surreal Life, and we've moved on now to My Fair Brady. And I'm pretty sure the plan is to watch Bret Michaels' Rock of Love as well. And if you've never seen Bret Michaels' Rock of Love, I think it's on Amazon Prime. If not, it's on Tubi or one of them. But it is one of the biggest displays of pure trash you can find. I mean, you literally have diabetic Bret Michaels, and you have all these 20-something, lack of a better term, whores, going after him for his money. And it's all these young women. He's so hot. And it's like, you look at him and it's like, really? And it's such a, like, the girls on there are so fucking trashy. And it is the DWB, as my wife and I call it, the dumb white bitch version of Jersey Shore. If you're a pumpkin spice latte loving, you might like this show.
You brought up Jersey Shore. That's going to come.
All of the girls on that show have taken plenty of loads to the face, probably.
Oh, behind dumpsters. For sure, at least the first couple were behind a dumpster by a, like, Shake Shack or some shit.
All in the name of platinum.
I'm not a cum dumpster. But yeah, that's basically what we've been watching. I haven't had a whole lot of time for movies besides what we're reviewing. I did watch
Kung Fu movie.
I did watch Jet Li's Unleashed, which watch the rated R version if you watch that movie. The PG-13 version kind of isn't nearly as good. The rated R version is much more violent. Scott Adkins, I actually just noticed, is one of the stunt guys when he's doing the cage fighting. Oh fuck, I'm bad. I actually watched another.
Your celebrity crush?
He's awesome, bro. I watched another Jet Li movie. I watched Cradle to the Grave.
That's a good one, though.
If you haven't seen that movie, it's got one of the greatest Eminem songs ever called Go to Sleep, where literally the chorus is, die, motherfucker, die. And then it's like, you're starting to haunt me. How the hell are you still alive? It's such a weird, like, the whole song should be it should be a UFC fighter's entrance music.
He's opening his own chicken restaurant. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, he actually showed up to
his mom's restaurant.
What's called Mom's Spaghetti?
His mom opened the restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, his mom with her wealth opened the restaurant. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know, but it's his mom's restaurant.
Yeah, because Mark Wahlberg's mother, before her untimely passing, ran Wahlberg's.
They're her recipes.
That's what he's saying, Mom's Spaghetti. Literally, they hired some dude who's like a 45-year-old Mexican guy that's cooked in every restaurant you've ever been to, and he's like got every recipe you can think of. It ain't his mom's fucking recipes.
It's funny that you bring up Eminem, though, because he's going to be in the new, what's it called, the halftime show with the NFL with a bunch of others, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. It's going to be fun.
Halftime shows are terrible.
Wow.
It's only what, the third week? And they're already talking about halftime shows?
I'll start watching halftime shows when they have, like, somewhat hard rock band. Like,
you just lost it.
Bye, kitty. Fucking
Goodbye.
guy. What if they had, like, Nickelback perform, but then they started playing Pantera? Like, I want to see that weird shit where it's like, we're Nickelback, and this is Walk, and you're like, what?
Don't even announce the halftime show. Just fucking put fans in.
Right? What if you did it that way, where it's like, you got to show up to see who's performing, and, like, one year it's Beyonce, and the next year it's, like, Cotton Eye Joe's live. It's like, what the fuck? I would oddly probably watch it, though, because I don't nowadays. I don't even watch the commercials because the week leading up to Super Bowl, literally every commercial's not only released online, but then they become your ads for YouTube and shit. So like, by the time Super Bowl hits, you've seen them all, and it's like
you've already seen them all.
I don't really care about football at this point either.
Version now.
Yeah,
you see the extra 20 seconds.
And if I read about one, like, did you see the commercial with Tom Jones? And it's like, no, but I will. Like, I don't need to watch the garbage football. I don't care about football anymore. People hate me. I like Tom Brady.
He's been dead for 5 years. Yeah. They do shit like that.
All right.
Oh, you like Davy Jones? I'm sorry.
I don't give a fuck about Davy Jones.
You're a fucking monkey.
That's racist.
That was racist.
We are the monkeys. Davy Jones, the fucking monkeys. Get the fuck out of here.
Listen, you bum. The Beatles were better. They didn't even play their own fucking instruments. The only one that played an instrument was Mikey. And he was a pervert.
Peter Tork and fucking
Peter
Monkey.
Pumpkin Eater.
Okay, we're gonna
argue about the
jump-
monkeys. I love the monkeys. Let's not fight about them.
That's like the most like immature comeback as an adult. Peter Pumpkin.
But if you say it threatening enough, it becomes real.
I actually knew somebody named Peter. I used to
Oh my
talk to.
god.
So the first movie we're going to talk about is Sleepaway Camp, which
Swamp
came
Thing.
out November 18th, 1983.
So it's a new movie, you say?
Yes.
Now, to put this in perspective, let's see, when did Friday the 13th come out?
79.
Was it 79?
No, I think it's 81.
It is 80. Nope, that's the series. 1980. 1980. Yeah, so Sleepaway
I literally
Camp...
said the 2 years around it like an asshole and just missed it. God, I suck.
And what was Halloween was 78. 78. Are you just giving me these numbers out of your ass, or are you,
No,
do
it's
you-
1978.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were fucking with me.
I thought I was correct
Yeah.
at least on one of them.
So, budget for this movie $350,000.
Yep.
Box office $11 million.
It actually
You know,
did really well.
I'm going to be
Pretty
honest
good
with you. I'm
turnaround.
going to assume that the $350,000 mostly went to the location renting because, boy, you don't feel like you're getting $350,000.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
This is 1983. $350,000 was much more than it is nowadays. You do a
This
lot
movie
more with
has
it.
Way too big of a cast to get into, but the one of obviously the main actress Felicia Rose, not Felicia Jones. She's been in a lot of low budget horror movies. She's also
Building up,
married.
yep.
What's up?
Building up, yeah.
Oh, she's married to the ex singer for CKY. She's been in lots of horror documentaries. Yeah. And then
Sorry.
yeah, so anyways, we I just wanted to bring that up. We can jump into it. I don't think there's anyone really-
Christopher Colette is actually the guy that played Paul. He was in the Manhattan Project.
Well, this was his first movie too, if I
Yeah, it was.
Transgender
He was in something
werewolf.
He was in something that I'm always bothering Matt about. Prayer of the Roller Boys. He was the main protagonist in that fucking.
It's got Corey Haim in it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it does it.
So
That's a plus.
He was also in a Stephen King movie, Anthony. What is it? Langoliers?
the Langoliers.
Langoliers?
It's not one of the better Stephen King adaptations. But anyways, this movie has a lot of oddly homoerotic sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of rapey vibes.
No, there's not
Yeah,
rapey
too
vibes.
much,
There's
too much on
overt
that.
rape and pedophilia.
Oh yeah.
It's
Like,
like literally he gets
bullying.
caught by the boy about to pull his dick out to the transgender werewolf.
What gets me, like you see how they are, you
Werewolf.
see how they look at the kids, and everybody else around them. Even the guy who walks in the kitchen. Spoiler alert: we're spoiling this movie, guys. Even the guy who walks in the kitchen, he's like, "What's going on here? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What's going on here?"
But, yeah, that's the other thing is he is literally the owner. Is like like a dumb version of Johnny Knoxville from that Action Point movie, and he's going around. He's like, I know this kid's a murderer, literally, and his cooks are raping children.
I know.
Like he's got no. He's like, I'll just turn a blind eye to that one. I need the pastrami salad. It's like what?
At the beginning, the entire kitchen is actually outside, and he goes, "You're crazy. You're crazy." The other guy that's telling him.
And then what's
the guy
with
who described later.
like then the older black dude who the cook is literally like, I'm gonna fuck some children, and he's like, oh no you're not, no you're not.
Crazy, you're crazy.
And then they do that
That's the
zoom
one
in
I'm
on his
talking about.
face where it's like he gonna rape some kids. Like it's like what
Yeah,
the
it's
fuck is
super
going on in
weird.
this movie?
Super
Like
weird.
he gives it almost like that like Jim from The Office look to the camera, like it's like, shouldn't you tell somebody, Melvin, or whatever the fuck your name is? I don't know why I thought it was Melvin, but
I have no idea what his name was, but yes, you should have.
like what is going on? This is like the movie Heavyweights, but a very weird dark twist.
I think this movie was definitely going for like schlock, trying to appeal to the masses that liked, Halloween and Friday the
When
13th.
was
Yes.
when was John Waters a hit?
70s.
Was it during this time too?
Earlier than this, late
Yeah.
60s, 70s was John Waters' heyday.
So I think this is trying to be very much like a John Waters film.
See, I don't get that impression until the very end when the way they do the color swipe thing when they release the vampire or werewolf. That is such a weird. It's literally the poor girl had to like stick her head into a mold with his fake body with a dick. By the way, a 13-year-old boy doesn't have that much hair. What is this? A fucking caveman? Like, is she just? Is it not only? Is it not only she's transgender, but she's actually super masculine, like George Clooney hairy? Like she was Robin Williams fucking hairy. How does that happen at 13?
Yeah, her body goes from fragile to swole.
Yeah, and all of a sudden she's jacked, like she looks like a werewolf.
Every time somebody was killed, did you not notice the hands had like some massive veins?
The hands were dude hands.
Yeah,
whoever they filmed doing it was clearly a guy.
Well, that was because the mom of the girl, what was her name?
The robot mom,
Felicia Rose. She said that she didn't want her child to be portrayed as a killer. So the mom said that her daughter couldn't perform these acts.
Oh.
So they had to put somebody else to do it. That girl Felicia was only fucking 13 years old during the filming of this.
I believe it. She looks young.
Yeah.
The part in this movie that made me laugh was the ending, not because of the
vampire transgender vampire.
Right.
Not because of that scene is actually for its time was pretty fucking jarring.
Well, then because literally it's preceded by the flashback of like we already have a boy, we don't want another one, and you're gonna have to be a girl, and it's like because you're hitting the face of the horrors of this poor kid for how many years now having to be a girl when it's a boy. It's
deal with it. Yes.
Fuck.
My favorite line of dialogue though is when the two people see her or him. This is the 80s, and we don't know how she would have identified, but when the two people see her, and instead of saying like, "Oh my God, it's the killer," the thing he says is, what does he say?
Oh my God,
she's a boy.
Yeah,
and it's like that's like.
Well, but also isn't this supposed to be kind of the flip side of movie? What was the movie where it was the girl who is portraying herself as a guy to like. I don't. It's an 80s movie, I believe, where there's a scene where like the guy that she falls in love with as she's playing a guy to get into some club or something, she ends up like, no, I'm a girl, and she shows her tits to him.
Oh, just one of the guys.
Just one of the guys. Yeah, this is kind of the polar opposite because
he goes, it's okay. She has tits.
Well,
or he has tits.
Well, when you think about it though, like if I don't know what year that came out, right? But this sort of movie is the polar opposite. It's almost like whoever made this is like, oh no, we're going to take that old trope of like, they look at it as like, oh, they just show the tits and it's beautiful, ha ha ha, well, we're going to flip it on its head. And you can kind of see where even back then filmmakers were trying to take popular cliches and going, no, fuck this, we're going to fuck with them. I think that's what this is partially a direct product of.
Well, I mean, it's also a play on, like, the original Friday the 13th. It turns out it's the mom, and this one, it turns out...
Yeah, it's her. It's the transgender
yeah.
werewolf, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a little weird, because the body cast they have for her at the end of the movie not only has a dick, but it's like a straight pointing dick. Almost like she's hard. And I got to that scene, and I'm like... Alex, what the fuck are we watching? Like, there was a part of me that was like, this motherfucker. Like, what are you, because you picked it, and the only thing I'm thinking is like,
I know.
Part of me also, part of me as I was watching it was also like, maybe we should have chosen Ginger Snaps.
Well, no, I mean, on the subject of the 3 movies we chose, they are movies that are considered either classic or staples in horror.
Right.
That if you are younger than possibly your mid-30s, like, these movies are not in your wheelhouse at all, and even if you see them, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? But, like, these 3 movies, even though they're kind of weird, were very like important in the horror community for their time.
All 3 movies are very fucking weird.
I mean, this movie alone did 11 million in the box office. That says a lot.
Yeah.
So
And it became a cult classic out of nowhere.
This movie is really weird, though. Really
It
fucking.
is. It is.
The
Yeah.
dudes in this movie were in shorts so high their
I know.
balls were like so close to popping out.
But you know what? That was the fucking style back then. Your fucking father used to wear
The
those
crop
shorts.
tops. As soon as I saw them, I was like, God
Oh,
damn it.
so who did I
At
text
that
you
point,
about?
just take the shirt off.
The cop.
Yeah.
The cop looked like a young version of your fucking dad with his handlebar and the haircut he had. The one
Which
photo
one,
the guy with the mustache that was helping
the fake mustache?
the guy that was the friend of the ripped camp guy. That like he comes in at one point to
He was
investigate.
like almost at the end.
No, he comes in when the first
okay.
kid gets killed, and then he comes back at the end too to help.
There's
Oh,
a
I'd have
picture.
to see
There's
it
a
again
picture of
because-
my grandparents where they're standing next to each other. It's clearly 70s. Grandpa's in full like Bee Gees, Barry Gibbs, and Grandpa looks just faded. Like he just took a hit. They told him to take the picture, and he's just gone somewhere.
Ironically, Grandpa has never done drugs.
He's
like
been
that.
drinking whiskey since noon, and it's 8 p.m. though.
No, but one thing about the cop at the end though, he has that fake black mustache. I don't know if you guys saw that. That guy couldn't. He shaved his mustache for some reason. It was like the reverse Justice League thing where he shaved the mustache, and he couldn't grow it back fast enough. So they put a fucking fake ass thing on his face.
Take this felt mustache we cut out, just put it on your face.
It was
now.
completely like the reverse Justice League, man. It was so
Do
weird.
you think the prop guy was like, we only have one of these mustaches? We do have a lot of Hitlers. No, we can't use the Hitler mustache.
Watching this movie though, I understand it's older, and I see where it being a staple and cult classic comes from. I had two problems with it though. One, I wanted more kills, or at least more stalking. Do a little bit more stalking.
At least more on camera kills.
Yeah, and
But
the ending.
it was hard. It was hard for them. It was hard for them to do it, I guess.
The ending of this movie, the way it ends bothers me because like the movie is just beginning. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff you wanted is crunched into a tiny portion, and the way it ends is just like, what happens? Like, does she kill the two people who see her? Does she like what happens?
Just chasing.
Look, here's one question I have.
Right.
When it came to the curling iron or the hair curling iron or whatever, did she stab her in the face or in the wazoo or like?
No,
what do
it
you
went
think?
up the wazoo.
Okay,
It's in
or
the
not the
script.
wazoo,
Yeah.
but the
She,
okay.
Is it in the script?
Sodomizes her.
Yeah, no. It
oh,
shoots out of
God.
watching that scene too, I was like, when her hands came up, I was like, oh.
I know. I was like, oh God, here we go.
I was like,
I mean, she
But
did
I
deserve
did
it.
I did like the fact that she fucking pulled the bed out of the way to drop the body on the side and then pushed it back. It was like a good hiding spot, dropping the body in behind.
The shower scene where she knifes her right through the shitty tiling.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
But the scene where she drops the body behind the bed, it's so iconic to that character when you see the end, because like she's watching her the whole time through the movie, and then everybody was discovered, everybody was found, and she fucking dropped that body. She's like, I hope you rot and take the longest. Like that's exactly what I got her
She
there.
fucking hated Judy.
Yeah.
I want the entire movie reshot, but the hulking actor that was her with the face on, just do that actor with like a prosthetic woman's face, like make it actually.
So that was actually a guy who had to get drunk just to shoot the scene.
Oh, that's sad.
For that, because he couldn't do it on his own to show his body from the lower half, and it was a mask that was put on his face to look like the Angela character.
That's one of those things where you're like,
and to this day they can't find who that character is. He's uncredited in the entire movie about the body, whatever.
yeah, like how do you share that credit? Like, yeah, the creepy werewolf pee-pee at the end, that's me. Like,
yeah. And
Wait. Are you sure he did that though, and that wasn't prosthetic? Because are you talking about Jonathan Tiersten?
No. It I was looking through their shit, and it says the guy actually had to get drunk just to show his body. He was a college student. I'm trying to locate it real quick. But so what is it, Jonathan? What are you saying? What did you find?
Jonathan Tealston did all like the kills and everything. That's why it was his hand. That's why it was so veiny.
Oh
and shit.
no. This is about the end
End scene where they show her
Yeah.
standing there.
It was the skinny guy that had the
Okay, so it was a college student from the area, and they made a plastered mold of Rose's face to wear. Okay,
of her face.
that's why it's in one expression.
Okay. Which is
That's
super
like
disturbing, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it only having the one expression is the weirdest part about it. To be honest.
Yeah.
Although this movie showing the kills, like I wish there were more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like the graphic scene of the chef getting his face fucking boiled. Like I wanted the movie to stay that visceral.
Yeah.
But it did also. This is a weird tangent since we're talking about kills. When we reviewed *Malignant* last, I just thought of this. The violence in that movie was awesome, but it did commit one cardinal sin. There's one off-screen kill in that movie.
Who?
Which
There
one was
is?
that one?
The guy in the bathtub.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you're right.
And it just dawns on me because if you have a horror movie and you go all in and show kills, like why would you do an off-screen kill? I know that's a weird tangent.
It feels like there was maybe something in the script about it later on that got removed, and they was like, well, fuck it, he's just another death.
And there have been
I thought you were
other.
gonna make a reference to like throat chair. Sure.
Well, no, other
Waffle House
slashers have done that. Like Halloween is notorious for doing off-screen kills. It's just weird. I don't know why.
Well,
I just
speaking
thought
of
that.
Scream, doesn't Scream do a couple of them?
Scream?
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, there's a bunch of off-screen kills. Like, yeah.
You see the bodies later on, and
Yeah.
they're not explained.
Which I hate. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if it's done like an off-screen kill can be okay if it's done to come back to spook the main character. Like if you're doing a Texas Chainsaw, if there's an off-screen kill, then it's gotta like come down from the rafters, hanging from a fucking meat hook, and like you see the like blood gurgling out of them, you know, something like that. Unless if you don't do something like that, yeah, an off-screen kill is the problem with off-screen kills is they happen so much in the 80s because of the fucking censorship. How many Friday the 13th kills were off-screen because of the fucking ratings? Like literally, if you could watch a foreign movie that was basically pornography in the U.S., but if you watched a Friday the 13th movie, it was bogged down garbage as far as the gore.
Well, if you watch a lot of the documentaries, there's so much of the Friday the 13th footage that just got scrapped and thrown away because they couldn't use it.
Yep.
And no one saved it.
Nope. Of course not. Everybody thought they were fucking Stanley Kubrick, and they had to burn their footage. Because they're fucking artistes. You guys ready to do final thoughts and give
real
Yes.
quick, let me stop you there. The kids at the beginning with the father that's in the water. I guess that's young Angela.
Well, that's
and
it's supposed to be her and her. Well, is that Peter though?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's Angela. That's actually. I'm sorry. That's
the brother and
With
sister.
with the whole my two dads situation.
So that kid that plays that little character, that's fucking somebody from Jersey Shore's brother. It's the older brother of Mike Sorensen, the fucking tax evader guy.
Yeah, the one that went to prison for it, right?
Yeah, that's his fucking brother, and he was uncredited for a little while, and then all of a sudden he got credit for it. That was my little thing.
Every time you say tax evasion somewhere in the world, Wesley Snipes like flinches. Like, oh.
I gotta say, Wesley Snipes' cameo in What We Do in the Shadows is fucking brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, the daywalker. Was this thing on? Can you hear me? I don't know, man. I am a little upset that he's not going to be connected to the Blade movies at all. I like the guy that they got doing it, but Blade 1 and 2 are some of the, like, they're just awesome. Blade 2
Mahershala
especially.
Ali is the perfect casting, but again, if it's not rated R, get out of
Well,
here.
not
with that
like
shit.
yeah. If it's not gonna be rated R, that's the first big no. And then it's like, am I a dick for not giving two shits about his daughter? Like, can't I just have if you're gonna reboot the series, can't you just give me the Blade origin again then? Like, do it in your like. Why are we fucking around with like, your and anybody, and I mean this, if anybody comes back at me with, well, the source material. If we went by the source material, he'd have a giant afro and would be speaking jive. Don't fucking talk to me about the Blade source material. Fuck yourself. Blade, people
also,
think
unless
Blade
you're in
1
your-
and 2.
late 50s, you did not
Yeah,
read Blade
There's
back in
there's
the day,
nobody
so
that
don't
was
even.
12 years old in 1995 going, I'll read the 1970s Blade comics. Do you? Fuck out of here. Anyway.
I'm gonna pay $30 for the first issue.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, you fucking phonies. That is the other thing that's problem with comic book fans, is the amount of elitism is insane.
Oh, the comic community is so toxic.
Wait, you like the issue 27? Oh, it's like, go fuck yourself, nerd. Like, and I'm not even that type of guy, but I'm still kind of like, go fuck yourself.
My first year at fucking C2E2, I fucking got hit by somebody trying to walk by me with a fucking luggage fucking thing, trying to get them all signed by one fucking artist. And I'm like next in line. He hits me and walks in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And when I told you guys about it, you're like, yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
see. The problem is, I am Patrick Yardburn from. I hate to reference this from Ted 2, where he literally goes to like Comic-Con just to bully people. Where he's just literally like pushing them on the ground and shit. Like, I'm that dude where if it's like I don't like public spaces anyways, and if you're gonna be a dick to me in crowded areas, then I have no reason to not be. I have no reason to watch my spatial awareness like I always do. Make sure other people are not within me bumping in, because I'm very, as a big guy, I've always been a big kid. One of the things you learn is self-awareness of where your body is, and you try to be as small as possible going through crowds. But if you're a dick to me, I become full like, fuck you, you're getting pushed now. Like, you little fucking dweebs, do something. I don't know if you guys just heard that. My dog just snored, and it was really obnoxiously loud. Get in the fucking cage. No, I'm joking. Yeah, that's right. You don't get to have pleasant dreams. All right. Final thoughts, and then give us your hot dogs. Lewis.
This aunt's a fucking bitch.
Dude, she's a robot in the beginning of the movie, and she's a wacko at the end.
Very, very uncanny valley. It's like, are you real? Are you real?
There must have been a scene missing where she was fed oil.
I've got something that I have to remember. It's tied to my finger.
Yeah. Dingle, dingle,
oh,
dingle.
God.
No, yeah, so final thoughts. Is this a good movie? No. Was it a good movie when it came out?
Maybe.
Enough to be successful. I mean, this movie was riding on the coattails of just
it was probably a great movie to go to a drive-in theater and make out.
It had the music of Halloween.
This is not as good as Carpenter. What are you talking about?
Any way, shape, or form.
The music styling.
Oh, I can see that.
Very much, very, very, very similar.
Yeah, you're right. They did completely copy his score.
Yeah.
No, if my problem with people that watch movies, like my wife will see an old movie and be like, "Oh, this looks so stupid," and it's like you gotta watch it. You gotta put yourself in that time. And this movie, for its time, was trying to ride the coattails of like that shock factor in horror movies. And to its point, for one, the subject matter it did for the 80s, fucking ballsy, because I mean, you have AIDS is still a thing.
AIDS was just starting to really come rampant.
Yeah. For them to use a gay couple,
it's also very hush hush.
A gay male couple, which technically speaking, gay males were the highest risk of AIDS at that point.
And it was also something you didn't talk about back then. You're like, oh no.
So for this movie to be as successful as it did, doing such a ballsy subject like that is kind of crazy. But if you watch this movie, you do have to remember, the time it came out and compare it really to the other movies around it. But for a rating, even though it's a cult classic, this is a 3 out of 5. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's kind of its own thing. The sequel's not worth checking out. Although Felicia reprises her role in, I think, maybe the last one, or maybe all of them, I'm not sure.
I think it was number 3, I think. I gotta look at it again.
Wait, as the killer?
I don't recall if it was as the killer.
She's in the movies, but not as the killer later on?
I will say this is a good movie if you're with a bunch of friends, you all haven't seen it. If you just want to make fun of it, throw it on.
Do a bonfire in the backyard, watch it on the projector, some shit like that.
But yeah, 3 out of 5.
I'll go. Believe me, I am not a PC warrior. I do not like, however, how they treat the transgender issue, because they don't treat it as people can say all they want. Oh, it's the movie with it's progressive. It had a transgender killer. Blah blah blah. They literally the only time you let it known that it's a transgender is at the very end, and they treat it as this grotesquely, fucking like, oh my god, part of the horror is she has a penis.
Yeah,
And it's a very weird way.
Exactly to your point, this movie got a lot of flack for it when it came out, even at the time.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where it's not a movie where the villain is a transgender. It's a movie where the horror is the fact that they're a transgender, which is a very weird backwards thought process type of the way they treat it. They could have treated it like it's just like it's actually a masculine dude that's fucking murdering everybody, but instead it's more like the way they end it with it's the end scene, and it's just the fact that she's got a dick. It's a weird. There's no statement being made. If you tried to get a statement out of it, it would be that the transgender community is weird and freakish, and that's why she's the bad guy. And I didn't like that portrayal of it. And believe me, frankly, I don't really give a fuck. Live your life. But if you're gonna portray something, shit like that shouldn't be the centerpiece. And I don't like it when they do it in the positive either. I don't like it when it's a horror movie and the hero or heroine that comes out of it is, that we have to like them because they're gay or transgender. I don't like it either way. I think it's a stupid device to use in a movie.
Yeah.
And in this one particularly, I thought it was used in bad taste. With that said, this movie's great if you want to watch it with friends and rip on it and just make jokes. I didn't like it. I thought everything about it screamed rip-off.
Just like the way you said that. I didn't like it.
I watched it, and it's not that like I didn't like it to the point of like, God damn it, another one, Alex. It was just like, I'm not a big fan of this. I don't and it wasn't even the bad acting. It wasn't even really the cheese. It was just like, this movie doesn't seem like I can't take it seriously at all. Like Killer Klowns, you can't take seriously either, but you're not supposed to. This one, they wanted you to take seriously and be scared to go to the watering hole. And I thought it was ridiculous. For me, it's a 2 out of 5. People can call it a cult classic. I think it's kind of a piece of shit. Just not a fan of it. And I feel the device at the end of using the fact that she's got a dick as being the villain was ridiculous. The end shot scene of just that one shot, ridiculous. Acting was shit. And then, like Lewis said, literally the cook gets killed, and that's a fairly rough scene. And then after that, the actual violence gets pretty tone. I mean, even when the girl in the bathtub or the shower gets killed, you really don't see much besides some red stuff on the wall, and then she's got like a scar down her back, basically. The violence definitely ramps down to a point where it becomes kind of ludicrous. The first person thing was a trope done by Jason or Friday the 13th. And the payoff is, the problem is the payoff doesn't make sense because you've literally got a 35-year-old man's hands doing shit. And then it's this 13-year-old boy girl. It's a little weird. But yeah, not a big fan of it. 2 out of 5.
I'll go. I'm going to also go with 2.5 because watching this movie again, I don't recall half the shit that I saw. I don't recall the ant. And I don't recall the ending. I don't recall the ending when he screams out, she's a man or whatever, she's a dude. I don't recall all that shit, but I do recall like all the kills and stuff. And I actually thought that the guy that she killed was somebody different. I thought it was another actor that's actually in fucking Star Trek. I can't remember his name. He was in oh god, what's that other never mind. Anyways,
You're on a boat in the ocean by yourself, buddy.
Well, it's almost like literally there's a boy she just murdered next to her, and it's like she's got a dingus. It's like what is your priority here, copper?
Not only that, she removed his head.
Well,
yeah,
camper.
His head was removed.
He's a camper.
Very violent death.
She took his head off.
She took insight from the Taliban on that one.
But yeah, I didn't like the fact that how it ended was where like you're like, oh, it's a man or it's a dude. I didn't like that, and I didn't like how there was some other shit in between. But the beginning where the ant, I don't fucking remember that at all.
So the ant feels like she's straight out of a deleted scene from Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Actually, yeah.
Totally see that.
With the fucking rosy cheeks and the fucking happy smile.
And like literally she's acting like a robot. It's just like she's got like weird like the emotion that actress was trying to portray came off beyond fucking fake. I mean,
that's where I got a John Waters feel because He has that
with
that
her,
thing,
yeah.
you know, yeah.
You have to play a
with
doll.
just that actress.
She's playing a doll.
But yeah, it was a 2.5 for me, and I do remember as a kid liking this movie because it was just like one of those offbeat fucking movies as you're watching and shit happens. But I don't remember the ending, and I don't remember the beginning where they explain how there was the accident. I don't remember that shit. So it was weird that I when I watched it again.
The fact that it starts off with that scene and then they wait until the end of the and that's the other thing is there's a weird.
And they're going to see the doctor. They're going to see the doctor,
but
the psychologist or whatever.
But they weirdly tie together the fact that her parents are gay. Like they don't show the fact that she had two dads until right about when they show she's a trans, and I don't.
Well, the guy who's talking to her is actually her other dad. They don't talk about that part.
Yeah, and that's until the very end when it's like
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this movie was like I can understand why if you're in the 80s and you're a transgender person, you can look at this movie as kind of attacking your being because it's like you made us a monstrous villain. And all it is and really the transgender issue, and this may be controversial, but it's just feeling, you feel like you're not in the right body, which is essentially down to it. You weren't born with the body you mentally should have.
It was something different.
Yeah, and in this one, it wasn't like this is a movie that had it been made now, you'd probably have more of the deep conversations in the movie about exploring it. But once again, when you use it almost as like a horror movie type of punchline at the end of the movie, you really do end up kind of more or less degrading the entire idea of what And I once again, I'm not a political correctness guy, but it did not sit well with me. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
No.
These fucking guys.
These fucking guys.
Listen, you want to get faith fucked?
So the problems I had with this movie, yeah, it's not good. And I agree with the transgender issues. I will say the ratio's off. I needed more kills, more evil from that side of the story. There was too much like character building. It's characters you didn't really care about either.
But they didn't even build the characters. They literally they like the bullies. Those seems like characters that they might build, and then at the end it's just like nope, they're still just assholes.
Yeah.
The only ones that get their comeuppance really are the girls that fuck with her.
Yeah,
that's true.
Besides
true.
Besides the kid that was
something I
her.
found out was they were actually all good friends with each other, and for them to actually throw her in the water at that one scene, they were having a hard time trying to do that.
What does the guy call them? The lifeguard? Is it pricks? You guys are pricks, or it's this? He's literally got the same line every time he's on camera in this fucking movie. I can't remember.
The lifeguard, I think it is something like pricks.
It's like pricks or pricksters or something.
Yeah. The problem I have with the ending of this movie, like I said, they crunch it down into one small part, and I wanted more after they show her as a villain. Put the transgender aside. Like, if she's the villain, does she kill those two guys? Does she go on a rampage before the cops catch her? Like, what the fuck happens? They just end it right there, and it was for the shock factor. And, I just didn't like it that way. But this is a 2.5 out of 5.
I think they were hoping for like a sequel right after, because this is what, 83, and then the next one was shit. How fucking far did it go? Well, when she came back was in 2008, but they had two more in between that.
Sleepaway Camp 2 was 1988, and Sleepaway Camp 3 was 1989.
Yeah, so they were hoping for something.
What is it? 5 years from the first to the second? Damn.
Well, the last one was like 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Return to Sleepaway Camp was 2008.
Can't imagine that's very good.
And that's where she reprises her role as Angela, and as a sheriff. So she plays two roles.
All right, so take a quick break, and then we will be back with Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yes.
Killer Klowns.
All right, so second movie of the night is Killer Klowns from Outer Space, which I believe this is one of Giovanni's favorite silly horror movies.
One of mine. Yeah, it's one of mine as well.
Giovanni was touched by a clown.
So this movie I saw budget, I haven't seen
2
actually
million, I
what it
believe it
made,
said.
but budget was 1.8 million. This was directed by the Chiodos brothers. This was the only movie they directed, but they've had their hands in a lot of special effects stuff. They've did creature effects for Ernest Scared Stupid, which the clowns actually came from that movie.
Okay.
Some
They,
of well, no, wait, Ernest Scared
It
Stupid came
explains.
after.
oh,
Yes.
sorry, yeah, after they used the
Yes.
Because
same
that was
puppets.
like early
Arms were in
90s,
there.
right? Like 92
They
that movie came out?
yeah, they also so they did work on UHF. They did
I love that movie.
Critters.
I love that movie. They probably did the Rambo prosthetic.
Yeah, they did the fake commercial for the SUX car in RoboCop, the 6000.
Night with the Lizard.
Okay.
Yeah. They've done a bunch of cool shit. They've worked with like The Simpsons. They did stuff for Team America, World Police. Yeah, they've. This is the only movie that they've actually directed and written, but they've done a bunch of cool shit. Not so much lately because they're in their 70s, late 60s.
I almost thought you were gonna be like because they're dead.
No.
I thought you were gonna go
yeah,
real dark.
We could jump into this movie. I just want to point out that the one guy's name is Mike Tobacco, which is insanely stupid.
It's almost like they had a fucking sponsorship.
Yeah, some of the names.
Hi, I'm Cool Marlboro.
Jojo the Clownzilla.
You guys
Farmer
ever blow
Gene
bubbles as a kid?
Green.
Yeah. I just clicked on Chiodo Brothers.
Alex,
They actually. What's up?
you ever blow bubbles as a kid?
What's that?
You ever blow bubbles as a kid?
No, I didn't.
Giovanni, you ever blow bubbles as a kid? Louis, did you ever blow bubbles as a kid?
Is Bubbles a man that I'm blowing, or are we talking about?
It might be.
You're supposed
it
to
might
say
be.
you're supposed to say yes, and then I go good because he's back in town.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
An old joke.
But as I was looking through, the brothers actually had something to do with Dracula, Gremlins.
Yeah, they've done
RoboCop.
creature effects for so much shit.
The 2000 Dune,
So does this movie prove that guys that come from the special effects background
American Werewolf in London, Javon.
we like the Paris one, you piece of
Paris.
shit.
I know. But I'm just throwing American
Does this
Werewolf in
prove
London.
that they can make a good movie, or like I know Giovanni likes it, but is it a good movie?
I like it. I love this movie. It's not a good movie.
Like maybe
Well,
they
but
should
at the
stick
same
to.
at the same time, they intentionally went for it, and I'd say they achieved what.
Why didn't
they
they go
went
for rated
for.
R though?
Well, so they changed the title because the title was just going to be Killer Clowns, but I think they wanted to like avoid it being like.
Well, that does also tap into the 50s style that this movie kind of represents when you think about like everybody hangs out at the small burger joint. It's almost like you have the neighborhood from American
Small
Graffiti.
town fucking horror.
Yeah, it's like American Graffiti meets Goofy, outer space alien. So I always took even as a kid took the title as like it's an homage to like the old school 50s movies of like killer wives from outer space, that sort of shit.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
There you go.
Also, I believe this was Christopher Titus's first movie.
I was
Whatever happened
watching
to that guy.
He under the Trump era became a he was one of those guys who would literally accuse Trump of being a bully while being a bully to people for not agreeing. He became one of those guys. I think he had a podcast. He hasn't done much in the comedy world. I loved his show when he had it. Speaking of Stacy Keach's father in the show. I thought the show was funny as hell. I'm not too familiar with his stand-up. Yeah, I saw him. I was like, holy shit, it's Christopher Titus.
Yeah, this was his first role.
Mm-hmm. This movie was also supposed to get a sequel, but it's in development hell. And Sci-Fi reached out to purchase the rights for this to make a sequel.
Please no.
Nothing
And
happened.
nothing.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do a sequel at this point and not just reboot the fuck?
They wanted to do 4 films of this.
Huh?
I mean, isn't it at the point where the groundwork that's been laid is going to be so disconnected from what would come now because of just the time and technology?
David Gordon
Popcorn
Green and
Guns would
Jason
stand
Blum
up?
will pick it up.
Jason Blum, I do, I do give him props because his statement about why they gave Halloween Kills a hybrid release was basically he basically was like, I fucked up with the Freaky release. It didn't get the press it should have, and it didn't do shit in the theaters, and I don't want that to happen because Freaky was a good movie, and I just don't want it to happen again. So like,
Which was a good movie. Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, if you're looking at maybe, I don't know how much money that, like, I don't know what the financials look like, but as a fan of the movie who is not particularly fond of going to the theaters at this point anymore, it's really awesome that I get to fucking watch it on October 15th on Peacock. Like, to the point where I think I'm just going to spend the $5 a month for the higher version just because it's kind of like we run our mouths. And if I'm going to say, hey, you got to support these guys when they do this shit, just like HBO Go, I'm buying Godzilla vs. Kong this weekend because I saw it on sale. Like, even though it's on HBO, but I enjoyed it a couple times now, I'm going to buy it. You know, just like Free Guy. I can't be a bastion of, yes, VOD in theaters to home and not purchase the product. So, like, I'm going to buy Free Guy. I'm going to buy, you know, like, I can't, when Halloween Kills comes out on digital, I'm going to own that. But, you know,
that's
you
how I felt.
it.
I told Shay, I'm like, I'm gonna buy Malignant. Like, even though I felt weird about it, I think it's an important movie.
So I'm not even a person who really cares anymore about collecting the physical medium of the movies, but Malignant is one of those ones I kind of would like to have, like, the physical 4K. I know it's a Netflix movie, so I don't know if they're going to actually produce physical 4Ks, but it would be nice to get.
Was it Netflix or HBO Max?
Oh no,
HBO Max. So yeah, it'll get a 4K.
Yeah, okay.
It'll get one.
Fuck, why did I think it was Netflix?
Surprise, motherfucker!
One of the greatest, most meme-worthy parts of Dexter. It's in season 2. Surprise, motherfucker!
Dokes.
He dies way too.
Dokes.
Anyways.
But back to Killer Klowns. There's not really much to this movie.
So
it's slapstick horror.
I'm just gonna say things that I was thinking while watching it.
It does have some good shit.
Why does the cotton candy that consumes them look like singular testicle? Like they just look like a bunch of testicles hanging around each other. I do like the fact.
It's a new cat.
I do like one of my favorite parts was the balloon animal and the shadow puppet that ends up. Consuming
when he makes the balloon dog to chase after him.
Yeah.
The balloon dog, and then the fucking the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, and then also there's the one scene when they start to invade the little town, and it's got a very John Carpenter, almost electric kind of like synth.
They're all walking kind of slow.
And it's got a it's a weird soundtrack, but it was one of the things like I was like, I'm digging this. Like I like the feeling they're bringing here. Like
the Killer Clown fucking soundtrack in the beginning was fucking awesome though. I like the song. I really like the soundtrack.
You know, I will say the acting in this movie, especially because I watched it right after Sleepaway Camp and before Phantasm. The acting is even though it's cheesy, it's much better than Sleepaway Camp. And then Phantasm is better acting than Sleepaway Camp by far as well, even though it's 4 years earlier.
I gotta argue with that one. We'll see.
Oh no, I'll argue.
What?
How could you ever say
I'm gonna argue.
The acting?
I'm gonna argue.
The acting in Phantasm is so much better than Sleepaway Camp.
Okay, maybe.
We'll go into that.
We'll go into it.
But yeah, I didn't dislike this movie. There were some parts that were too goofy that, you know, really break the kind of like mold that they're trying to make, but it's goofy, it's fun. It's the end of the movie is the movie
it is described as a comedy though.
Yeah,
the end of the movie is rough.
A comedy
Jojo the Clown, the big marionette.
I'd honestly like to see the guy who made the Nicolas Cage movie, Wonderland, whatever.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. The guy who made that, I'd love to see him do a reboot of Killer Clown. I think he'd be able to handle it pretty well because, like, whoever wrote and directed that movie had a pretty keen sense of humor on what they were going for. And I think that's just to the same credit of this movie. The guys who made it knew what they wanted to make. Like, I don't think you see things in this movie as a product of, like, well, we have to. I think they wanted this movie to be what it is. Mm-hmm. I think if they would have had more technology, these would have, if any of the guys could really push the technological limits, it would have been these guys who, I mean, you see what they did throughout the industry after this. Because RoboCop 1 is what, 85, 86? So that's a few years after this, and so you do wish this movie was made 10 years later, just to see what these guys would have done with the tech they had.
Oh, it would have been so much better if they would have. Yeah, if they would have had it.
Early 90s, I think, would have been quite an amazing
The
product.
clowns may have been speaking and shit.
I like the fact they didn't talk. Like, one of the coolest scenes in the whole movie is the clown in the police station.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
when he
that scene.
talks with Mooney.
He's legit until his hands come off. He's legitimately creepy.
Dude, their laughter is fucking creepy.
Or I thought you meant when he was using Mooney as the puppet.
No, before that,
when he says, I'm here to kill you.
When he's in the cell
and he pulls his hand out and he goes, what?
No, I was talking about the one where he literally, it's kind of funny because he like,
he's
he literally waddles into the jail cell for him. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then he goes and bashes his head into the jail, like the bars. And then the other two dudes are just like, and he's looking at, I like those scenes. I do like the small town motif though. I always have in movies. I think some of the best horror movies.
There's not much of that small town left because this movie had a 40-person body count.
Yeah. They murder a lot of fucking people.
For a PG-13 movie on top of it.
Oh, man.
So what does it turn them into when they're in? Is it turn them into them? Like when they're in the ball sack cocoons?
I think
no. The popcorn turns to more clowns.
So that's just them harvesting food, though, the ones that are in the nutsack.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they eat like spiders do. They liquefy inside the
I would like a sequel.
cotton candy and they drink them.
Can you imagine a prequel set in like a different time? Like medieval
it'd be
Killer
amazing.
Clowns?
Killer Clowns in medieval times.
You a fucking jester. They were the original Koopas.
Well, they wouldn't have the tents and it'd be whatever.
All right, let's do final thoughts on this one, and then we'll give our hot dogs, starting with Giovanni.
Awesome.
I made you wait.
This movie is great. To its point, they knew what they were making. I think they went for it, and you see it in the movie. Like they didn't take themselves too seriously. They wanted comedy. They wanted horror. I would say this is more so on the sci-fi comedy. More so than the horror comedy. I love this movie.
Well, I do want to say if the acting would have been better, like if you had modern day acting, you probably could have sold it more as the horror. But the acting is so outlandish at points. It's like you literally do have Red Foreman.
Yeah.
Basically in the movie. he's the old sheriff. You just want me to get off the force. Well, I survived Korea, and it's like, all right, Red, you're gonna put the foot up the ass. Let's go. Come on.
I'm gonna stick my foot up your ass.
This is for in my heart of hearts, this is a 5 for me. But rating the movie for what it is, it's okay. It obviously has its shortcomings. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 hot dogs.
Okay.
Alejandro.
For me, I'm gonna actually give it a 3 out of 5.
Wow.
Or 3.5.
That's the same thing.
No, I said 3 out of 5. I meant 3.5.
Oh, okay.
Not the same.
5.3.
7.5.
What I did find amusing was it took 23 minutes for the fucking movie title to actually come into play, where Mooney actually says, "This is Killer Clowns from Outer Space." 23 minutes in, I like when movies kind of do that, even with the title, but that's just me. But I fucking always loved this movie. I really like the clowns, how they kill people and how they did their things. I like the part where the guy was putting the little show, and then he's pushing her away. She's pushing him away. She's like, no. And then all of a sudden she points a death ray, kills the guy, and then she points it at the guy, turns him into fucking cotton candy. I like that shit. I don't know. That was
little fucking puppet show. It's so good.
Yeah. The little things like that just make me laugh.
I like the when they threw the pies at the cop and fucking melted him away.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you can see under the pie layer. It's just like a red goo layer that he's turning into.
Yeah.
It was like something from the Blob.
This is pie. No, this is something else. Somebody died here.
Once again, another movie where if Rick Moranis was in it, it would have been much better.
But 3.5 for me.
Lewis?
This is easily this is also a 3 out of 5 for me. It's a goofy fucking movie. More sci-fi comedy than horror, but if you do appreciate the horror genre, like you should watch this movie for the practical effects and the awesome creature work the Chiodos brothers do. Um, Even though it is like clown and very slapstick and hokey looking, like the detail on the fucking clown suits is so
Oh
great.
yeah.
Um,
Right,
and
everybody.
like
People
We are a professional
people
podcast
use
that
them for
recommends
costumes
nothing
to
but
this
trouble
day.
in Killer Klowns for punishment.
People
but
use those costumes to this day for costume
yeah, but
parties, man.
the like the creature work of like this and the thing and in certain movies, like that's like a magic that unfortunately, like you have to go out of your way to find newer movies that kind of replicate that style, which is so sad.
Successfully.
Yeah, successfully. But yeah, 3 out of 5. I mean, if you're planning a 31 days of Halloween horror movies, this is definitely a day you could throw in to kind of lighten the mood after watching a movie that just ruins your life, like
Yeah.
all of the movies I watch. But yeah, 3 out of 5.
Well, see, here's the thing about this week, a little weird, is we go pretty rough next week. Because if I remember correct, or not next week, well, the next week for the show.
Oh, we
Ameri-
go really
It's
rough.
American Werewolf and... No, next week is the week of the 15th. Well, the week we're recording.
We don't do anything next
Well,
week.
we're off recording, but the third week
Yeah,
of
we're
Halloween is American Werewolf in Paris, Frontiers,
Mm-hmm.
and what was there's
Grave Encounters.
Grave Encounters.
Grave
So
Encounters, yeah.
Frontiers
It's
is
gonna get
really
even
rough.
rougher after that week.
Oh,
The fourth week, I think, is probably the most violent. I mean, you've got VHS 94 and both of the modern Halloween movies. It's going to be a lovely bloodbath of a week. I can't wait. The nice
So
thing is we're going to have a
consider
full...
this your palate cleanser.
Well, yeah, this is if you're kind of sitting there and you're like, these guys really haven't gotten me, like they haven't really chosen super serious horror movies. It doesn't get nicer for me at all. I mean, literally, the live episode's The Exorcist.
oof, it's gonna be fun.
We're gonna start going hard. I think the goofiest movie
Yeah.
we watch.
Which I
Is
haven't watched yet since
like,
I was a kid. So
We're gonna have
it's be
Ernest
fun.
Scared Stupid, but we're also gonna have Frontiers, which if you haven't seen it,
It's a rough movie.
yeah. I can't wait until Giovanni and Alex have to watch it, so I can hear Alex go, trying to watch it, but fuck, man, because it's a rough one. Yeah, we're gonna start going hard. Take this week as a breather. You're getting goofy fun. Next week, not so much.
This week is the like you have to go to the bathroom. You're almost there, but you started undoing your belt already. And next
Yeah.
week is the you didn't get there in time and you shit your pants.
Yeah, you drank a tall boy of Jeremiah weed, and every one of your muscles in your body constricted to help you.
That sounds like a you story more than anything else, though.
And then the week
You
after
tell me
that
you've never had
is
diarrhea from malt liquor.
not only did you shit your
I
pants,
never
but
drank
you're
the
not at
Jeremiah
home.
weed, so I don't know.
Well, malt liquor, it's all malt liquor. Oh, it's malt liquor. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the next few weeks because it's going to get hardcore, and I'm actually craving violence. I watched these 3 movies, and I'm like, fuck me, man. I need some hardcore. This is so. I'm going to buy I got to get Frontiers and my next on. That's a movie I don't think I can get Jen to watch. Literally about Nazis. Weird. It's fucking weird. All right. My final thoughts. I like the movie. It's goofy. There's some memories I have of it as a kid, but it's not in my... My father was weird with movies like this as a kid, so my exposure was literally like I would, go to Blockbuster and pick a movie, and like I got to pick a favorites that they didn't care about, and it's like, I'm gonna watch this movie. So, I didn't have a ton of memories of it as a kid. I did dig it. It's fun. It's
You actually
goofy.
found this in the favorites?
Blockbuster at one point, their
I've
favorites
never
were
seen this in
amazing.
the store ever.
At
ever.
one point, Blockbuster's favorites were.
I actually had to buy it
fucking-
to fucking see it.
You would literally find a better selection of shit in the favorites than on the main wall sometimes. Like, you would have... There was a point where you would rent one movie and you would get... The new movie was 3 nights or 2 nights or whatever, and the favorites were a week, and at one point you would get 2 of them. And, that's where you spent a lot of your time, because it was like, well, I know we want to see this, but I've never seen... By the way, there's a movie in the iTunes called Session 9. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's a movie I actually first watched at Blockbuster. I got it in the favorites. Low budget horror movie.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Same.
But yeah, you would find movies like Session 9. You would find movies, random shit, because you were like, well, I got 2 fucking free movies, and
Like
I get them
The
for...
Signal.
I get them for a week, so why not, right? And I had to tell... And then once I got the movie pass, it was all... Like, I was all in. I watched everything. And then I started working there. It got even worse. They fucking giving us 10 rentals a week, and it's like, I guess I'm Jen, rent whatever the fuck you want. Like, you know, how am I gonna get rid of 10 movies? Because people like Alex were managers, and they got the good movies first, so I never got a copy of them.
Yeah, that was.
Yes, it was. For me, it's I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't hate it. I think it's goofy enough to where you can watch it every now and then, have the fun with it. You can add it to your October list if you want. It wouldn't be a bad choice for it if you're trying to put in stuff that maybe your significant other would dig. Maybe you need something that's going to kind of lighten your October load.
This movie.
Well, my thoughts is like in between Devil's Rejects and Frontiers, you throw this in, and it's a little bit smoother. I don't know why we didn't do Devil's Rejects this month. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Did you say your wife hates this movie, Anthony?
She doesn't like clowns.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was gonna say.
Jen, you don't have any fears of clowns, right?
What's that?
He doesn't care for them either, so she probably wouldn't dig this. I have no soul, so 3 out of 5, and right back. All right, Lewis, when you get some goddamn quiet, good to go.
Fuck, shit, fuck. Oh, sorry.
Alex's Tourette's is.
Scene.
All right, and the last movie of the night, arguably the more serious of the 3, is Phantasm.
Especially if you look at it like he's just a weird pedophile chasing.
Yeah. so this was man, the guy who, I don't know how you say it, Don Coscarelli?
Damn Polish actors.
Anyways, he directed, wrote, produced, did the cinematography, edited this movie, and it's a very weird movie. It's only 89 minutes long. Budget was 300,000, ended up making 22 million. So, I mean, all 3 of the movies we're reviewing are cult classics, and technically all of them did pretty well.
Yeah.
But this movie is about a kid who, I mean, I guess we'll jump into it, but like, it's a pretty fucking sad story for this kid. So,
when you finish it, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the movie starts off and you're just like smacked in the face of like, oh, the parents are dead. Like,
yeah. His parents are dead.
His oldest brother died.
Tommy. His oldest brother died. And then his brother, who's taking care of him, is planning to leave him, and he knows it. It's just like, holy shit, dude.
Tommy's not the old brother. Tommy's a friend.
No, I thought they said that he was a brother of theirs.
Oh no, he was one of the buddies. He was one of the buddies. Yeah, he was one of the buddies.
Doesn't the ice cream guy look a little bit like a bald Michael Keaton?
I could see that.
Like he looked like a bald younger Michael Keaton.
Oh, Reggie.
This movie is just seriously
and his
sad.
name is really Reggie. Holy shit.
Yeah, and he reprises his role in
like 3 of them or 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah, so man, when you break this movie down, it's really weird because you can look at it as just the movie by itself, or if you look at it as the movie and the sequels, the rivalry between Reggie and the tall man almost like mirrors Ash and the Deadites. Like if you really watch all of the movies, like essentially Reggie is the hero, or even though this movie doesn't make him out to be, but if you watch the whole series, he's the ultimate good and the tall man is the ultimate evil. And if you just watch this movie, the ending is so fucking ambiguous that, because if you watch the movie and you get to the end and you're like, was it a dream or was it not? You can rewatch it, and all of the scenes that Jody, the older brother, is in, they're scenes where Mike does something and then Jody does the exact same fucking thing, and vice versa, almost like they're mirroring each other,
or like it's all in his head.
And like it's all in his head.
Well, look at the whole scene where towards the end when the sphere is coming at him and Jody shoots it with the shotgun and tosses it to him, and Jody's the one that brought the shotgun, or he had it on the stairs. It is.
Right.
It is really sad understanding that every interaction. Well, see, maybe not though. Like they leave the ending so open. Like you could take it as Jody was dead, and this is all this kid's grieving, but then you have the ghouls grab him at the end. So it's like,
Yep.
you could, if you really wanted to believe it.
You could say it the right way.
Right. When did we get to
Jaws.
Disneyland?
This,
can,
this
you can,
screenplay
you know-
was completed before Star Wars came out, so you never know.
Mhm.
But
Ooh.
I mean, you can dig deeper stuff in this movie, like the small creatures. It's almost like Lovecraftian in a way that the fucking tall man, like swoops them up from this other realm. And then the tall man himself, like one of my not one of my favorite, a subgenre of horror that I really like, that like if you said what's the one thing in horror that creeps the shit out of you, some people will be like, oh, it's ghosts or it's clowns or it's this. For me, it's grief. Like that's why two of my favorite movies are Hereditary and Midsommar. Like this movie is essentially about grief, because if you believe that that Jody is dead and Mike is like coping with PTSD from losing his brother,
And his parents, yeah.
and his parents. And to me, like as a kid, this movie creeped me out just because it was set in like a fucking cemetery. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when I was younger, this movie didn't like creep me out because the tall man was scary. Because when you're young, like you think about death and shit, and it just fucking creeps you out.
Although
Um,
it did make me laugh when fucking Mike crashed, because the tall man
Oh,
made me
the
crash. That made me fucking laugh. It did, honestly, it made me laugh.
I do think the acting is good in this movie though, because like all the scenes with Mike, that he like just really wants to be part of the scene with his brother, and he keeps getting like pigeonholed somewhere else or like stay here. It's fucking sad, and it makes it even more sad if you think that that Jody really was dead and that
Yeah.
it was
It was
all a
all in his
dream.
head,
Like
and
it's
it's
fucking
true.
depressing.
Yeah, it's true,
So-
because especially with the parts when like he does go along with his brother, they get along so well. Like he doesn't mind that his brother's in that danger with him because they're doing it together.
Yeah.
So
But-
it really, watching the movie, it was, because this is the first time I've seen Phantasm. I was really like,
Okay.
wait, is this in his head, or is this like, I struggled with that through the whole movie, and the end didn't make it any better.
Have you guys seen any of the sequels?
No.
I've
Oh.
seen him, but it's like vaguely. I've
This
seen
is
number 2.
This is a series that gets weirder as you go on,
goofier
because
as it goes on.
you get to the second movie, and Mike, it's a flash forward. He was in like an insane asylum. Doesn't really touch on the first one, so it's like, well, what the fuck? And then you discover that the tall man, Jebediah Morningside, was so obsessed with wanting to cheat death, which again, the series is about grief, that he invents this machine to travel to another realm, and when he comes back, he's the tall man. And throughout the whole series, it's also ambiguous of like, did Jebediah actually come back crazy, or did something else come back? And like, if there, it'd be a weird afternoon, but if you watch all 4 of them, it gets so fucking weird.
I don't know. I mean, are the sequels predictably cheesy and all that?
No, they just get weird. Like this movie is like you took your first hit, and the second is like you took another, and third and fourth is like you picked up another bong that was laced with something else. Like it just gets really fucking weird.
They call that
also,
a Cocoa Puff.
it like it from 2 on, it leans heavily into sci-fi.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, this is also, I mean, for its time, like this movie not using using the actor who played the tall man as just a creepy guy, as opposed to like Killer Klowns where they're using, you know, practical effect puppets.
Yeah.
Like this dude was fucking creepy back in the day, man, and it's still
Yeah.
creepy.
He's still
Yeah.
creepy. It's just how,
It was-
and like the
yeah.
other thing is like, I like how they film the chase scenes, because
Especially when
it's
it's
like, no matter how fast Mike runs, the like tall man's always behind him.
Yeah, always.
And it's like you see him run, which you don't see any. Well, the 79, they're kind of starting new ground here, but like, think of all the slasher movies you don't see anybody running, except victims. And then this is the polar opposite, where it's like you see the old tall dude running after him, like he's just a weird. Then the scene where they see him in daytime, and he thinks he's turning at him to look at him, but he's just absorbing the dry ice. Cool.
Yeah, he's just absorbing
that whole
the
scene
ice.
is just fucking weird, bro.
The steps in slow mo. Yeah, it's super weird.
And he's just like got this like look on his face, like.
My favorite scene in this movie is where the kid gets pinned under the car, and suddenly his brother steps in properly with his feet together, and he's like whacks him with the hammer.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh man. But watching this movie for the first time, yeah, it's disturbing. It's disturbing through the whole thing. Yeah, I've never seen this. And I felt sorry for the kid through the whole movie, because I'm like, is it real? Is it in his head? Is it not in his head? Like, nobody's really like helping him out. And can we talk about the scene where like everybody who helped him out, who come? I know. Okay, so I'm bringing this up because I know we talked about deaths off screen, right? How about people who lived off screen? Where his friend, the bald guy, comes in, and he's like, "Yeah, the girls are fine. I found some people in coffins. I just let them go. It's cool. Yeah, we're all good." Like, what?
Yeah. Where you think that Reggie died, he's still alive. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was
that makes the whole understanding of him being essentially alone now so much sadder, because it kind of paints a picture of like he has no one to turn to.
But in the sequels, Reggie's the main, I guess, antagonist.
Yeah, well, Reggie was Jody's friend, but even in the scenes with where it gets weirder, in the scene where Reggie pulls up to the ice cream truck, Jody's on the outside playing guitar. It's almost like you can even play that scene with Jody not being there, because Reggie just pulls up, starts playing the song and singing exactly what Jody was playing. Like there's so many scenes in this movie where you can say Jody is not really there. Like you can take him out of the scene.
But in that scene, he does say, "Did you write anything new today?" And he sits down, he starts playing. So I don't maybe he's just reliving the
possibly.
Yeah, maybe he's just reliving it. So that can be represented.
I guess without sequels, they could have left it much more ambiguous. But if you have sequels where the kid's been in an insane asylum, they kind of they don't really let you think about it.
Yeah, well, the sequels get weird because like you have this movie, it gets to the end ambiguous. Second movie continues but jumps, gets to the end ambiguous, and then third and fourth movie they continue, and it's like what? And also it's either the third or fourth movie. This Phantasm, the first one, was supposed to be over 3 hours long.
Oh wow!
And the studio was like, not gonna happen. So in the later two movies, they took scenes that were written for the first one, and added that. So it kind of like buttons up, like it all connects.
Okay.
That's at least pretty.
So it's a weird franchise.
I do say I really did dig one of the scenes that I saw in there that you really didn't see again until Terminator was the Red Vision sphere.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like the next time you saw anything like that probably was Terminator. There's a lot of different stuff that this you can claim this originates.
That scene right there where the sphere hits the guy in the head and like drills into this hole and then starts spitting blood out the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Everything would have been covered in blood, including fucking Mike, because he bit the guy in the arm. His face would have been covered in blood, but then he gets up and he pulls out his knife and he sits there and stares. No blood on his face because he bit the guy.
So do you know what's inside those spheres?
No.
So when you get in the sequels, you find out that the tall man is harvesting dead bodies, and he turns the bodies into the little dwarves, and he takes the brains out and shrinks them and puts them in the spheres. So inside all those spheres are tiny little brains.
That's pretty cool.
speaking of Phantasm, if you've watched the new Creep Show episode that just aired, there's a reference to Phantasm, because it's an
Not caught
episode
up.
that takes place in a mini horror museum, and it's directed by Greg Nicotero, and all of the real props that Greg Nicotero owns are used in the episode.
It's
One of them
awesome.
is the spheres, and another is the new prosthetic creep that they brought back. He's actually in that episode.
Cool.
I'll be watching that tomorrow.
I'm not
Okay.
caught up because it's only me watching it, so I have limited time to do.
It's such a goofy fucking show, and I love it. It's such a nod to the original.
All right, let's do.
We've got a week to catch up for all that shit though.
Oh, you got play? Yeah, they release new episodes every
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, I'm still in season 1. I love it because it's essentially Tales from the.
It is.
Let's be real.
It is. It's so good.
One of my favorite lines from the tall man is, "Ha ha 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 ha, boy." Like that's just
Yeah,
how
the
he
way
says
he
it.
talks, or it was like the funeral's about to begin, sir.
Yeah.
The guy was cast so perfectly, and he was cast because the director saw him like scare a kid just by looking at him, and was like,
Nice.
"You got to be the villain in my movie."
Yeah, what if he was just chilling in like a coffee? Like, what if the director walked into a coffee shop, and that dude was just getting a coffee, but as he walked out, he got like a chill down his spine and like looked back at the guy, and then the guy, "Hi, I'm Al, real nice guy. How are you?" And so it's like, "You're gonna be in my movie, you creepy fuck."
Oh no,
Did
sadly,
anybody watch this with subtitles?
Yes.
no.
Okay, so I did. Matt, did you like the whole warbling, like everything?
I had subtitles.
The way-
See, I didn't have closed captioning on, so
Oh.
I only had the subtitles on.
It kept saying warbling when it was the little Jawa guys. So that made me fucking laugh every time.
Yeah, the last Phantasm movie came out in 2016.
Holy
Um,
shit!
and the
I'm gonna have
series
to
is
watch
still
them.
not done. It's so cool that this has just been a small project that they've just continued to put out
Find a
whenever
way and
they
build.
can. Yeah. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
as long as they don't, like, you don't want a series to get to the point of it's a joke and it's, you know what I mean? Like, once you do that, it's time to rethink it then. Problem. So as long as they're kind of keeping it somewhat respectable.
I think the
for them.
biggest joke is Reggie himself to be in the rest of them, but him being the guy like Ash, like you were saying.
Dude, you get into the later movies and Reggie's got like machine guns.
Uh,
Like
Yeah,
he
That's
turns
awesome.
into Ash from Evil Dead.
I saw him with the bandoleros and shit, like the fucking shotgun shells and shit.
But yeah, on the topic of like you don't want something to like become a joke of itself, it does make me think of Chucky and that Don Mancini made that series, got to the middle, and it's like, all right, it's a joke, and now it's kind of serious again, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think the problem when you're dealing with horror as a creator, there is a kind of a fine line because, as we talked before, most horror has comedy in it.
Yeah.
But there's especially when you're dealing with iconic characters, where I feel like a character like Chucky is so easy to make goofy and not scary and quasi stupid that I feel these guys kind of maybe catch themselves and go, "Fuck, I need to kind of course correct because I wanted the scary Chucky, and we're going right back into the goof fucking tropes."
Yeah.
And if you're a fan, that may annoy you because maybe you want the goofy tropes, Chucky. But I think as a creator, it's got to get somewhat stale to be just doing the same shit over and over with your properties. You guys want to do final thoughts then hot dogs?
Real quick though, when you guys were talking about the acting might be better, Jody and Mike, I think those guys were kind of not that great during this whole thing. Everybody else,
I
I did like.
I feel Jody was
Jody
a
and
better
Mike?
actor than almost any.
Jody, oh my god! Whenever he would,
I feel Mike
no,
outacted everybody in the.
no, I don't know. I disagree. But it's just those two characters. Everybody else was kind of like there. Reggie a little bit when he was there was kind of like off, but Jody and Mike were the standouts. Where I actually didn't believe in their acting.
See,
That's just
I
me.
think you're crazy, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just me. I don't.
I mean, I guess it depends on if you're looking at it as like cheesy 70s acting. But to me, like
But
Mike's
that's the
older
thing is,
brother.
fucking Phantasm's 4 years older than Sleepaway Camp, and it's got less cheesy fucking acting.
Well, yeah, you said less, but there's still, like I said, there's two actors that I thought were still fucking really cheesy, which is Mike and Jody.
Still,
I'm actually calling out two specific,
I know, and
characters.
my point is just that I think the acting in Phantasm.
I think Sleepaway Camp they were actually trying to be John Watery, like and doing all that shit. So that's what I think. They're actually trying to be like that, or John,
Losers.
they were trying to emulate something that
I see. I don't know, man. That's the thing is like maybe, but it also that movie also doesn't feel like it was meant to be jovial in any way. Like John Waters had a certain like like there his shit was all comedy and the strange and weird, and this was less that. It was more like almost like Malignant, where it's like how many different movies can we copy from, and let's throw them in one. Like and
yeah.
like I said earlier, I feel like the beginning of the movie is like their like rip off of The Shining where The Shining or had that like drive up to the mansion, and instead all they have is the park that they're filming in. So it's literally just a angled shot going across the stupid lake, and it's like I don't know. Sleepaway Camp really felt to me like the ultimate ripoff, where it stole from a bunch but did
Which
nothing proper.
that place where they actually filmed, the director actually camped there when he was a kid, which
Yeah,
I didn't get to say that, but that was weird. Like
yeah.
that was his like one of his own places.
They're just I don't know. For me, there isn't one actor in Sleepaway Camp that feels any sort of genuine.
No, no, no.
Like even the bullies that are bullying her feel shit stupid. The bullies that are the boys who are chucking water balloons. It's like, what? How many more fucking cliches are we gonna throw into this movie? But final thoughts and hot dogs, starting with Alex for this movie.
I didn't like Mike. I didn't like Jody's acting. There was times where they actually did portray their characters right, but there was other times where it's just like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on here? But overall, I did like the movie. It was the more serious out of the three, and I did enjoy it. The tall man, he was creepy. The way he fucking popped up out of nowhere, blowing doors up and shit.
And just he
Showing
was
up,
insanely
saying
fast for some reason.
showing up and saying boy,
He
like
was
shit.
also the
God,
lady in lavender.
what? Oh yeah,
In case you didn't realize that he's the
no.
chick as well.
Oh yeah,
By
yeah,
the way,
yeah, yeah,
what's up
yeah.
with the random tits at the beginning
Stabby,
of the
stabby.
movie?
It just opens up. Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
watching and
well,
there's like,
that's
why is what just happened?
yeah, that's a tall man. Yeah,
wanted in the dark.
stabby,
I was like
stabby.
boobies for no
Well,
reason.
well, they had to fill their quota of boobies
Yeah, it was
in
79.
movies.
Every movie's gonna be borderline scat film. You hear me?
But for me, I actually I enjoyed this one a lot more than all three of them. I'm gonna go four. But aside from, like I said, Mike's acting and Jody's, but there was times where they just pissed me off as actors, but they were good at portraying their characters, and I did like it. And yeah, that's just me. Everybody else has got their own.
Yeah,
So what say you?
I'll go next. Yeah, this is easily a 4. Um, this horror movie. This is a horror movie that is not gonna be for everyone. Especially if you don't like a little bit of sci-fi mixed in with your horror. But again, this is another important horror movie. I would argue it's the more important horror movie of the 3 of them that we're reviewing.
Yeah, I mean it. There's a lot taken from this movie and the groundwork that it built for the horror genre.
Yeah, the tall man is rightfully so for me, an iconic movie villain.
Who died at a ripe age of what, 79? Some shit like that?
Yeah, he's pretty old.
Wasn't he in all of them up until like the last one? He died like
Pretty
before
much,
they
yes.
did it.
He was in the no, I think he died after the second or third one, maybe.
No, I thought he wasn't the like fourth one ravaged or something. He was
Ravager, yeah.
Was he? Oh shit! Yeah, no.
He was in most of them, I believe.
Sorry, buddy. I thought I said you died earlier than you did. No, yeah. This is an important horror movie. Especially when you think about movies that can pull off an ambiguous ending in a right way that it doesn't ruin the movie, because that's also like a fine line you can walk on of like, do I give too much, do I give too little information, and can I leave the audience scratching their head and not flipping the screen off? And this movie kind of pulls that off perfectly. So yeah, this is a 4 out of 5. I would only recommend the rest of the series if you're wanting to go down a weird rabbit hole. If you just want a nice button at the end of just watching a weird horror movie, stop at this one. But if you want to get real weird, watch the rest of the series.
I might check it out just for the shits of it.
Me too. Me too.
Giovanni.
I'll go. Yep.
Oh shit, he was in Freaky Links too. I apologize.
Watching this movie for the first time, I really did enjoy this movie. The villain was perfect. It left you guessing through the whole movie. There were a lot of scenes in here where you're like, is it in his head? Is it not in his head? What's going on? And yeah, the end threw me for a loop. It really did. The
Why
music.
Would you go there?
The music. I like the music in the movie.
Good soundtrack, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
yes, it
really
did.
well. It provided really great atmosphere through the whole movie. The only problem I had with the movie was I felt the scene changing between each act was a little off. Filming in between scenes, kind of, some of them were real quick and some of them kind of transitioned really well. But that could be for the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's 79, you know? And,
Yeah.
and I will say that this movie also does have a nice sort of filter over the entire thing, that grainy sort of like, when you think Halloween filter for...
Yeah, it just adds to the atmosphere of the whole thing. It's really well done. This is a 4 out of 5 for me as well, and I will be watching the others because I want to follow it all the way through. Yep, on Shudder.
Plug.
It almost gets very Doctor Who-y as you get into the later sequels.
I mean, even in this first episode, I can totally see the tall man as a Doctor Who villain.
Well, you can kind of see it when they go into the portal to the other world.
Well, also, yeah, because he's also doing the tuning fork, and they make reference to him touching his hand. Reggie touching his hands. Yeah. That was pretty cool. I'm sorry I didn't say that, but yeah, I like that.
You have your hot dogs?
Yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's on you.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time, to be honest with you. I dig it. I do like how they remastered it, because it had been recently remastered. You can actually get this movie in 4K. I like the kind of Terminator Red effect, as I'll call it. I like how that was the start of it. I still think the dude chasing him through the fucking mausoleum is creepy as shit. I like Mike, to be honest with you. I like Jody. It's sad. The whole story is really sad when you really boil it down. With that's easy 3.5 out of 5. I dig this movie. It is not a movie, however, I would pull out. I don't know if every Halloween. This would be a once in a while watch. But yep.
Or let me show you something new.
Yeah, or if like Jen and I were talking about, if she listened to the episode and she was like, yeah, I kind of want to watch it, then okay, let's watch it. Like, I wouldn't be against it, but it's not one of my like must watch. It's a little bit slow at times. I still say it's better than and everything.
It doesn't have werewolf penis in it.
There is no transgender werewolf penis. Thank God.
Oh my God.
All right, that's week 2. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next week, or for the third week with just Giovanni, Alex, and I. Can't remember the third. Oh yeah, Grave Encounters, American Werewolf in Paris, and Frontiers.
Yep.
Cheers.
Until then, enjoy. We'll be posting these soon. You guys have a wonderful day.
Bye.